Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome to another in the Epic series. Hope you enjoyed the last couple. Before I get involved with today's classic match, I'd just like to mention a little bit about the latest patch ideas which are on the forum, latest ideas for balance. If you guys don't know how it works, basically you get a couple of votes. You have the first vote that allows people below 1700 to propose balance changes. That's already taken place on Facebook. That's why it's a good idea to be part of the Facebook page, guys. And then you get a lot of information on the forum, which is currently the phase we're in now. So Zep has put that all on there. It is there for a bit of discussion and for you to be informed about the proposals people are making. You then have another vote, and that decides what goes into the balance testing mod, and that's a chance for everybody to test out the ideas, see what works, what doesn't. And then you have the final vote, which of course implements things into the FAF mod. So it's really important, guys, that you get an understanding of what people are proposing, so you can also have your say and understand what your vote will pertain to. So head on over to the forums, guys, and check that out. Anyway, on to today's classic match. I warn you guys, if you have somewhere to be, I wouldn't start this now. Put this in your watch later folder or something, or your playlist on YouTube, and check it out later, because this one is going to be a long one. But if you are up for it now, come with me to Fields of Iszh and see how this one's going to play out. So team one on the left hand side, we can see up here we've got Jicelo. He's in the blue corner. He's going UEF. Opening land, hasn't queued up anything else as yet. He's queued up a few waypoints, but that's about it. His teammate down here is Iszh. He's also going UEF, so team one is an all UEF affair. And he's in the green corner. He's got land, 2 PGens, mechs, and then he's going to trundle his commander off to the middle and start picking up that mass. All very standard. Over here for team two, we've got Araton. He's black, and he's also going UEF. And he's this time getting his commander involved in a lot more base building. He's got the land factory, a couple of PGens, all the base mexes, and then he's going to move forward, it looks like, and start help with the hydrocarbon. And tag Liverpool down here is the only guy not following the routine. He's going Cybrin. He's kind of, I guess, what is that? It's grey, isn't it? And he's already making his way over to the middle. And if we take a look at where these guys are going, certainly it looks like Jicelo will have the opening to the top to his commander to himself. He's working on this hydrocarbon. That's unless he stays in this area, but I think that's highly unlikely. Got his engineer to start that hydrocarbon and move off, and now he's just finishing it off with his comm. And indeed, you can see the waypoint. He's going to go straight up there and start picking the mass up. And he's doing the right thing. He's heading to the other side, wants to pick up as much of his opponent's mass first as possible. And you can see these guys down here at the bottom, Iszh and Liverpool, are more or less similar in terms of their pace getting to the middle. Liverpool's going to pick up that first blaze wreck, but then he looks like he's got a waypoint going forward, and he'll be in range to pick up the Titan and then the 2 Harbinger wrecks, which is what you want to do, because of course that's where most of the mass is located. And Iszh is going to get a little forward radar post up, it looks like, surrounded by some anti-air. That's going to, and of course the power gens, that's going to take the edge off that. See an A move down there for some engineers reinforcing from Jicelo. That's going to give him some nice reclaim. Jicelo's actually got a couple of mech marines and a snoop in place already. It's going to give him any advance warning of engineers or other stuff coming in from Araton. But Iszh making his way forward, getting a couple of stuff. Really wants to be getting these to stop Liverpool. This is where all the mass is. They're going to have a little bit of an exchange, and Iszh is just going to sit there for the moment. Really wants to be hoovering up. He's letting Liverpool have far too much of this mass. And it really is the secret. You want to be getting those 3 wrecks, if at all possible. Getting a couple of 1000 HP off the enemy commanders, not necessarily going to help you comparatively. Take a look at how those guys made out of that. Liverpool got out just under 3000 mass, and Iszh got, well, he's on 800 now. He's reclaiming with other stuff. I bet that was probably more like 600 mass. So that would have done Iszh the world of good to get his hands on some of those central wrecks in the middle. And you can see Liverpool's not even fussed about making a play for the middle. He's going to walk on back. We're having a little bit of a com-on-com fracas up the top. Araton pursuing quite heavily. Jicelo has been doing a little bit more reclaiming, it would seem. He's lost a few more HP than Araton. Going into the yellow a little bit quicker than his opponent, who's also got a few strikers coming into the fold now. Jicelo has a couple reinforcing of his own. And it's a steady stream of units coming in from Araton. Not that much coming in from Jicelo. Araton continuing to push. He's going quite deep into enemy territory. We've also got some Lobos in play. Can ruin your day, the amount of damage that they can do. Finally, Araton breaks off. We've got a couple of bombers coming in for him, though, but I don't think they're going to get that much work done because there are some reinforcing intercepts coming in from Jicelo. And indeed, those bombs drop short of hitting the commander. So Jicelo is going to make it out of there, but he has been shooed away from the middle. We've got a Jester out for Liverpool that has taken the radar out from that little forward outpost that Iszh made and is now heading straight into the main base. He's going to go on a engineer killing rampage, I imagine. Needs to be careful. There are a few T1 anti-air turrets in the area. In fact, that engineer, which he could have snagged, just finishes one. And that Jester and his interceptor friends don't make it out of there. Friend or friends. And down here, Iszh is on an upgrade. First glance looks like the T2 engineering suite, so that's tech he's going for above gun. Obviously wanting to get into some kind of turtle phase nice and quickly. Never a bad idea, I guess, when you're rocking the UEF. A little run by happened from Araton. He's brought a bunch of his troops down behind the central reservation. And he's now going to go and annihilate these T1 P-Gens on his way past. A little bit of friendly fire there. Bomber's just hitting his own guys. It's fine, don't worry about that, guys. And Iszh is going to start work on an air cleaner, the T2 static flak for UEF. Probably should have started the triad first. Don't think that's going to get finished now. And he won't be able to hold on to this forward section, as it's an awful lot of different coloured units that are hostile. He's got units from Liverpool and Araton closing in on him. That triad does go down thanks to the Lobo fire. Nice overcharge there, picks up a few units, but the reinforcing Mantis are going to force him to back up a little bit. He's doing okay on hit points, as they've mainly been prioritizing the static defenses, as you'd expect them to do. But quite a big engagement sizing up here for the opening of this game. Strikers on strikers. Similar amounts of units, it would seem, and they both decide to back away from each other, not wanting to overcommit just yet. And another group. So Araton getting his troops everywhere at the moment. He's going to force Iszh back with what, a heavy group of Lobos. Iszh gets that radar online. It's going to give him some intel. Get forward and overcharge a hell of a lot of those. And it's always nice to get extra kills on your comm, of course, get those ranks. Reinforcing Mantis coming in as well, and that radar system might just be a little bit far forward. That's probably not going to last too long at all. Indeed, there it goes. Iszh promptly retreating. And, Team 2 deciding not to push that engagement any further. Definitely not wanting to over-engage, overexpose themselves to too much. He's got a small group of Lobos going in, just being annoying, really. Trying to stop Iszh from getting his main turtle up. Iszh does have a couple of Lobos in the area, and he gets the triad online finally. And that's going to allow him to at least get some kind of established base up. And he's getting some relief now from Jicelo, who's sending in a few units of his own, whilst at the same time engaging through the gap at the top. Pretty even numbers, maybe just slightly favouring Jicelo, but both guys deciding to pull back. It's been quite a little interceptor battle over here. The moment, airwise, seems to be leaning towards Team 2. But we have got T2 tech, and he's actually upgrading that to T3, so Jicelo going for very early T3 air. Wants to make that his play. He's got a lot of power gens, T1 power gens that he's been clicking and dragging on the build queues. Take a look at how these guys are doing economically wise. Jicelo sitting on around 61, 62 mass. Liverpool sitting on 44. Iszh sitting on 29. And Araton sitting on 29 also. So currently Iszh and Araton short stacking on eco. Jicelo running away slightly with it. Getting some very nice ordered upgrades on with this little group of engineers going around upgrading everything. That's 60% done now on that T3 factory. I wonder if he's actually got the power to start producing ASFs. He's got one T2P gen online. He's working on getting another one up and running. It's going to be rather interesting to see how that plays out. And Iszh is just in turtle mode now. He's just working on triads. Really wants to get a shield gen up, especially since he's got hoplites bearing down on him from Liverpool. He's got that T2 factory, which is flanking one T2 power gen and about to be flanking another. So the transition to land tech successfully made by Liverpool. T2 online. He's changing his mind about working on that triad. He's going to move forward, so he's getting a little bit of a point defense creep on. Wants to secure a bit more territory. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to pick up these. Doesn't have to overinvest too much mass. Just a couple of T1 mass points will do it. And there's another one there. One engineer, surely you can spare it. Send one back here, but it's always the problem with these sorts of things. And actually a little engagement up the top. Araton has moved forward with a whole bunch of strikers and managed to pick up 2 mass points off Jicelo. Have to see how that affects the scores. He's also moved forward at the same time, Araton, and picked up those mass points on his side. So almost all of the forward mass points now in Team 2's possession on their side of the map. Jicelo is sitting on 72 mass, so it is going up despite the loss of those 2 mass points. 65 for Liverpool. Araton's on 39, so in terms of mirror, Jicelo is pulling ahead of Araton nicely, but Liverpool's definitely pulling ahead of Iszh, who's on 30. But not wanting to engage too much. He's got quite a heavy group of Mantis and Hoplites building up on this side of the gap. Not wanting to over-engage. You kind of feel that Iszh is spending a little bit too much on triads at this stage. He's concerned about that mass of troops, but needs to be working on some more eco. It could do. It'd be nice to see some more factories out from him as well. He's got nothing on the field in terms of units. Another little attempt at a run by from Araton initially, it seems, but then that has been neglected, and they're just stopping and allowing pursuing groups of units from Jicelo to catch up with him and pop them, and then they stray into the triad range of Iszh and properly get zapped. And we can see a whole group of ASFs now on the field for Jicelo. He's done a very nice job indeed. We'll see how that's working out from him on power. He's got just enough to be getting on with. He's working on another T2 P-Gen. He needs to get that up if he's going to commit heavily to an air build. But see what they're doing. They're flying above the T3 air facility of Liverpool, who's trying to produce ASFs, but he's not getting it done because every time one's going to pop out off that landing pad, it's going to get insta-popped. He's got to get some kind of ground-to-air combat going. He's got to get some kind of anti-air out if he's going to break that, because that's super annoying. He's just throwing away mass. He's never going to get ahead that way. He's got a strap bomber on the way, has Jicelo, and that's going to be very interesting indeed. There's all sorts of things he could do with an early strap bomber at this stage. He's got a hell of a lot of units he can bomb down in this main pack. He can go to town in any of the rear bases. There's no ground-to-air static D at all. Coming straight over the base of Liverpool, doesn't release a bomb. Liverpool anticipates an issue, or finally trying to deal with the ASF, starts spamming up a SAM. That strap bomber heads north into the base of Araton, who also doesn't have any significant ground to air, except for a whole bunch of archers up this side. But still hasn't dropped a bomb. Finally gets one away. Takes out a T2 mass point and about 6 mass storage. Of course, one of the problems with 3599 and preceding patches, they just didn't get the height map issue sorted with the strat bombers. It took faff to be able to get that done. Still not 100%, but it's a hell of a lot better than it used to be. They consistently drop their bombs so much more often. Strat bomber now getting some nice opportunities, but decides not to hang around initially. It doesn't look like he's turning around to go back into the base. There's a lot of archers there. I guess he doesn't want to throw away that strat bomber. Lots of T1 bombers out for Iszh as well, trying to thin out this horde of Mantis. That strat bomber could do a great deal of damage. It finally drops a bomb on that horde. Drops it a little short, but still picks up like, I don't know, 7 or 8 Mantis. Very nice indeed. That one strat bomber could decimate it if he can keep it alive. However, since he is no longer hovering above this, Liverpool is starting to get some ASFs online of his own. And indeed, he's going to send it out after that strat bomber. He's up to 39 kills, 3 stars, but of course, actually works as quite a nice bait tool. 2 ASFs ain't going to cut the mustard when there's that many protecting it, and he's going to send another 2 out after it, but that's just going to get shot down without any problems, I imagine. Going straight after him, and he's actually using air staging facilities. I love it. Nicely done. You just don't see enough of that. An early strat bomber, and he's being very economical indeed, keeping it alive, refueling it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But more ASFs continue to pour out of Liverpool's base. It's going to be interesting to see who can hold on to the air advantage as this game develops. He's busy tidying up those T1 interceptors and bombers coming out from Iszh, who still doesn't really look like he's making any great impact. He's got a T2 power gen online. He's now flanked that with a shield generator, so that's given his comms some coverage. You can see he's queued up artillery, so he really is in for the static hold. He's not looking to build any armies at the moment and get involved with the combat. Jicelo just on a nice ASF tidying up mission. Got a read on that whilst the stealth had been activated. You can see the stealth going online for him now. Those ASFs are going to tidy up that rogue scouting one from Jicelo. And out comes that strat bomber again. Picks up another huge group. Another 6 Mantis go down from that bomb. And again, another group of interceptors enable their stealth and come after it. But it's no good. Fly past just too many of Jicelo's wasps, and they promptly grab the kills. But still, that ambassador, the strat bomber for UEF, alive for Jicelo and going to town on the groups of Mantis. Drops it a little bit short, but this time may have bitten off more than he can chew. I don't know. Tag Liverpool not ready to engage just yet. It's a 48 kills now, that strat bomber, hero strat bomber. Entering a very static phase of the game indeed. All these guys working very heavily on eco. Nice pick up there. Huge quantities going down. 63 kills now on that bomber. I remember the last time so much action was focused around just one bomber, but we have got a T3 Titan on the field into Jicelo's territory for Araton. Picked up a T1 mass point and another one coming to reinforce it. And finally that strat bomber goes down. It's been annoying the living piss out of Liverpool. He finally deals with it. And still producing wasps. Not going to go immediately for another strat bomber just yet. But it's going for a fat boy. Very interesting indeed. It's like he's completely avoiding the land units, the basic land units altogether, and he's just going to go straight for experimental tech. Do like that. Those Titans looking to get involved with some of the lower order troops still kicking around from Jicelo. Probably turn around when they get into range from those triads. Hoplites engaging now the front lines of Iszh. Titans trying to get inside the shield. If they can get the shield down, that'd be very nice. He probably targets it. There it goes. But still quite a lot of fire coming off the triads. Bringing bangers in as well. It's not the best idea. They're not really needed. He's just boxed, dragged, and sent them all in. And instead of going any further forward, it looks like that Mantis is going to retreat. Particularly cost-effective attack. Iszh losing only the T2 shield gen. Not going to cause any great havoc there. And we're now seeing a broadsword out for Jicelo. So still hanging on very dramatically with the air theme, and this time he's going to go up and he's going to snag the 2 T1 mass points that Araton has managed to bag. With one NG that's running for his life. Run to the hills, little NG. There's a broadsword out there. Go, go! No! Oh, you're in trouble. No, you're not. You're the luckiest engineer on the face of the planet. I think he's made it. He's going to have a hell of a story to tell the little engineer grandkids one day. Titans coming back in on the upper side of the map for Araton. The problem is, I was just about to say, he's not going to be able to protect them from the broadsword, but he is. He's got a whole bunch of wasps out himself now. So the T3 air game has shifted slightly. Both of the members of Team 2 do have that air tech. And that's going to be tough for Jicelo to keep up with on his own. Iszh not offering any support on that front at all. His air factory singular is still at T1. He's produced a demolisher, the T3 mobile artillery. Obviously wanting to get it in there. And Monks wasn't able to finish that static T2. Wants to start putting some fire and push back this horde of Mantis sitting in this breach so he can try and gain some more map control. I don't really understand why he's not continuously trying to pick up these mass points. But things looking slightly bleak for Team 1 at the moment because Iszh is kind of not pulling his weight. Going to knock this up a notch. He has got some Percivals, or got a Percival on the field. Should probably, if I was him, would have focused on Titans first, judging by what he's up against. Hasn't seen many T3 units down here. What he has seen is some Titans from Araton. Of course, that's not essentially his mirror. He's expecting to engage Liverpool mostly. Unfortunately for this fat boy, the central reservation thwarting his attempts to deal damage to that horde of Mantis. They look like replicators scurrying away on that other side of the map. It's some nice elevation there. They're going to land over the top, and you can see a whole bunch of them going pop there. It's definitely a better place to be. Liverpool needs to maneuver those further up the map, which is what he's doing. You can see them moving away there. And once again, as he tries to track with that fat boy, Jicelo getting thwarted by the hillside. There's a pretty nasty group of Titans in that mix now. Once again, heading up here, going to deny this forward mass from Jicelo. Nothing he can do about it in the immediate future, it wouldn't seem. Jicelo chilling with his commander in that front forward base. Still very much concerned with outproducing Team 2 in ASFs. To protect that one broadsword as it goes north, I think. They're pinging the fat boy. And we have got a Monkey Lord online. That's heading west very swiftly indeed. Of course, the Team 1 are aware of it. That's interesting. They must have some pretty far forward Omni. Exactly sure where. But the question is, will it be able to get in range of the fat boy? It looks like it's going to. It's going to run out of space. Oh, it's a horrible place to be a fat boy right now. Microwave laser on. And cooks that fat boy at 1,000 megawatts. In a matter of seconds. Jicelo spamming up Ravagers as fast as he can. Beautiful range on those suckers. I don't think that Monkey Lord's going to have too much success unless it turns around, tries to find another way to do some damage, which is what he's doing. Taking an awful lot of Ravager fire on his way out, down to 9,600 HP. Wanted to get in here and deal with these troops. That mobile heavy artillery, the Demolisher from Iszh. Quite a lot of kills, up to 25. Manages to save that monkey for now. But Iszh looking rather exposed at the moment. And look at what these guys are doing. A huge bank of tactical missiles online for Liverpool. That's more than enough to grab a snipe. And the obvious target of choice is definitely Iszh. He's got no buzz kills in the mix there at all. Only thing protecting him at the moment is that shield gen. And in comes 4 missiles going straight for the shield gen. There it goes. And you hope that Iszh was paying attention to that and is aware that tac missiles are a problem. Needs to get that shield back up and start producing buzz kills ASAP if he wants to keep his commander safe. Monkey Lord now heading south for Liverpool. Still pretty messed up. Only 17 kills, so not a great deal of regen on it. Another 3 tac missiles coming in. Will that shield go online? Just gets online to snag the block. But another one coming in. The cycle's not going to be complete. That goes down. Finally, buzz kills in production. He needs to start more than that. Monkey Lord gets popped by Ravager Fire. Wasn't standing any great deal of chance of doing any huge amount of damage. Not with the amount of coverage those Ravagers have got. A lot of bangers in the mix now for Liverpool, offering him some nice coverage against any potential gunships. He was obviously concerned seeing that broadsword earlier. 6 missiles off now for Liverpool, heading up here this time. Going after the Monkey Lord wreck, I suspect. Oh, blocked by the reservation, and that's just going to give Jicelo all the mass he wants all day. There's nothing it seems like he can do about it. Always a great tactic when you know that there's a horde of experimental mass sitting on your opponent's doorstep that you've gifted him. And Iszh needs to move his commander. Oh, they're still going for a shield gen. That's really lucky it wasn't going for him. But I think it is this time. That looks like it's on course. Iszh needs to move his commander. Boom! Doesn't do it. He's been ejected from the game. Jicelo is now all alone. No auto give, of course, back then. If it's not given beforehand, they don't know they're going to die, which is kind of hard to do on a snipe. You don't. The whole problem with the fact that you got sniped is because you didn't see it coming. And so no possible setting for these guys to utilize. So Jicelo is going to have to get down here, start reclaiming this mass ASAP, start producing mass points. And of course, he needs to do that whilst taking an aggressive push from Team 2. You know, after one of them goes down, they're going to come with everything they've got. Of course, this is all very outdated tech now. This is all Mantis versus Percivals. Not quite as messy, perhaps, as versus Titans, but they still stand absolutely no chance of winning that fight. They'll just die ever so slightly slower. Well, I don't even know if they will when you've got that many Percys. Lots of ASFs on the field for Liverpool. And still 3 strap bombers that survived the Nova explosion from Ish's commander. It's quite nicely coordinated. Now 4 strap bombers. Jicelo can get a read on that. That would be a nice pickup for his ASFs. It looks like he has air control for the moment. And this group of Mantis that's just been hanging out down here for the entire game is going to have to retreat back to the main aperture. Nothing they can do against that. Percy's so very powerful. And it's exactly the right thing to do. He needs to take this opportunity to shove Team 2 back in their base if he can. And it looks like Liverpool's trying to use TAP missiles as a kind of point defense. Very difficult to do indeed. Have to have excellent anticipatory skills. That was a pretty good shot there, but you really have to be dead on. It's hard enough to hit an experimental with them, let alone a standard T3 unit. But he has got a Monkey Lord online, and Araton's bringing in some shield gens as well, which is nice because some people might at first glance, they don't know the game, think that this is going to be an instant win for Liverpool, but that's not the case at all. It's a whole bunch of Percivals. See how many he's got. That's 17 Percivals. That's more than enough to deal with the Monkey Lord. Putting lots of fire on the shield gens. You can see them just collapsing, and the Monkey Lord's wasting all kinds of time trying to get that laser online. Oh, as it drops below 10,000, 5,000 hit points, gets a little bit of a block on with the shield. Doesn't want to park there. Oh my god. And now Team 2 have a problem. That's a whole bootload of Percivals on their doorstep and marching promptly straight towards Tag Liverpool's ACU and the main base. Gonna knock it back a notch because this is going to be crucial. Liverpool taking a bunch of shots, is forced to back up. There are a few strap bombers from Araton. Jicelo's trying to dispatch them with his ASFs, but he hasn't got the ASFs to do the job. Air control on this side of the map firmly in Team 2's hands. Pursuing Percivals up to the center of Liverpool's base. He doesn't want to stop there, Liverpool. Get moving, son. Oh my god, down to 3,700 hit points, knocking it back a notch again. Oh my god, 600 hit points, 1 or 2 more shots. Oh, he didn't pursue. Oh my god. 900 hit points left on his ACU. I can't believe it. He's going to get away. There are some more coming in, but there's too many strap bombers in the area. There's going to be too many hit points taken off them if they make it into the base at all. Araton is there with his comms, got a couple of Ravagers up at the front. And Jicelo knows that that attack has been thwarted. He's now turning around. He's going to rescue or salvage what he can from that attack force, which is going to be nothing. Whalers coming in to assist the strap bombers in finishing them off. Very nicely defended. And look at that reaction from Liverpool. That is a fearful commander who walks to the back of his base and starts building 1,000,000 shield generators. Oh, so brave. So very brave. I don't blame him. That's exactly what I'd be doing if I was in a big metal suit about to go nuclear. But those Percivals that didn't get as far as the foot of Liverpool's base are promptly just going to march to the hillside. I guess they're probably looking for a nice place to be buried. He's found one there. Whaler's going to finish him off. Couple of broadsword coming in to help. He's a little bit late to the party. Fat Boy online down here. Looked like they snagged a couple of landed ASFs from Araton. See how many that was. That broadsword for Araton promptly getting popped. So Jicelo doing a nice job expanding south, picking up the mass points from Iszh's old base, getting the reclaim on as well. It's quite a nasty group of whalers now massing in the middle of Liverpool's base as well. Of course, there's a lot of mass now that can be hoovered up for Liverpool, so he's going to be able to recover nice and quickly. He didn't take that much damage on his base. I mean, lost a bit of build capacity. Still got all his main core T3 mass points, T2 at the fringes, they didn't go down. All those attack missile launchers are still in place. All he really lost was a bit of build capacity and that hydrocarbon, so he made it out. Very fortunate indeed. And now you've got to feel it's going to be a tall order for Jicelo to carry this. But then, like we always say in this game, if you don't get killed off quickly and you're a proficient player, you know, you can still pull in the same amount of mass that your team would be pulling in, but you can direct it where you want it. And in a game where you have to just kill one object, that's your opponent's commander, that can be very handy indeed. Throw everything you need to into that objective, not have to share it with someone else who's trying to achieve that in a different way. Liverpool working on some engineering stations, looking like he wants to make this new section right at the edge of the map, as far away from Jicelo as possible, his new home. He's working on teching that air factory up to T2. It's quite important that they try and wrestle air control away from Jicelo. It seems to be the favoured strategy that he's been employing all game. We'll knock that back up to +2 now that the excitement has died down a little bit. And it's getting to that point in the game now. Jicelo's getting fearful of any kind of nuclear attack. He's getting his strat missile defense online. Don't know if he's seen anything up here to concern him just yet. He may have seen that strat launcher that's going up at a rate of knots from Araton. He's got all of his, or a bunch of his engineering drones on that, really trying to spam that up as quickly as possible. So that may have been what prompted him to start work on that. It's good observational skills from him. Not seeing any nuke launchers in the main base of Liverpool. And Jicelo just bussing out what looks like engineers now to help get some reclaim on. Very sensible idea indeed. Huge quantities of wrecks. Lots of mass to be had. We'll take a look at how these guys are actually doing, economically speaking. I'll slow it just up for 2 secs. Actually, there's a little bit of an air fight kicking off. Watching that from Gicelo's perspective, definitely got the advantage in terms of numbers. See there's any way that Team 2 are going to win that. Taking a look at the mass, Jicelo looks like, I mean, it's all over the place. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like it's at 270s, I think that was. Tad Liverpool's 200, and Araton 200 as well. So still a ways to go to match up to the eco of Team 2, but it shouldn't take too long. A lot of T3 engineers down here building T2 and T3 mass. And TAC missiles coming in, going off those engineers that never even got to start their mission. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. That was your whole purpose in life, and you missed it. But still making nice use of those TAC missile launchers. Liverpool hampering as always. Jicelo just not wanting to attack, hasn't got the forces, doesn't feel like he has. And we've got Continentals out, very interesting. So Jicelo perhaps going for a Percy drop, get those into the core of one of these guys' bases. He can certainly even it up. He's got enough Percys on the field, that's for certain. And he's, well, he might not have, I mean, it's more or less even on air control. I guess maybe Jicelo has control. He has slightly, well, it's hard to call it control, but he has the advantage. Certainly, you would think he would have enough to get a couple of Continentals worth of Percys into one of these guys' bases. The fact that they're lining up down here, the obvious choice would probably be Liverpool's. Not seeing a great deal of SAMs. He's got a couple, or he had a couple of SAMs up here that he was building early on. There they are. So he's got 3 SAMs up here. If he drops them in down here, that could be very nice indeed. He's doing a little bit of a scout run, perhaps. Certainly getting prepared. He's got almost 4 fully laden Continentals full of Percys. He's built 3 extra. Flying over the base of Liverpool. It looks like that's going to be his target. Liverpool engages stealth on his ASFs. In come the Continentals for Liverpool, who's promptly going to realize, certainly Araton has, he's making a beeline straight for them. Hopefully he's dropped short. I hope he hasn't got into the center of the base, which it looks like that's what he's doing. He's going straight after the commander. That's a mistake. If he had dropped it here, that would be fine. But oh my god, 3 down, 4 down. Oh my god, 1 Percival makes touchdown. That's awful. Jicelo, oh man, if he'd have dropped a little bit closer in here and just played it safe, that would have been so much harder to deal with. But he wanted the element of surprise. Liverpool's just boldly marching out with his commander. He's going to overcharge it and go, get out of it. Now he's marching back into his shields. Oh, I feel sorry for you, Jicelo. That was potentially a game-winning maneuver you were about to make. He was obviously concerned about gunships. Didn't want to risk getting too much damage taken on his Percivals. He wanted to give them the maximum possible head start, but if he had just popped them down in here, he could have got at least 3, maybe all 4 transports down safely. Oh, painful. But we won't dwell. We shan't dwell. Almost feel like that just happened to me. That's outrageous. This game does to you. Jicelo has enough power to light all of Birmingham. Working on yet another T3 power generator, and I've got this up +0. Look at the pace at which that's flying up. It gives you an idea of how strong his eco is. And Team 2 pinging the strategic missile defense of Jicelo. They're pinging the top one. I haven't seen them ping this one, which is about to get one in the clip. Any minute now, that will be laden. They're probably having discussions over comms. I'm not seeing any in-game chatter. And that means that there's probably nearly a nuke ready to go. And if they haven't seen that middle one, they're probably going to go for the base down here. And if they stray too close to the center, that could be a waste of a nuke. So important to get that scouting intel on. A few scouting ASFs out for Araton get popped by the forward wasps of Jicelo. But hello, look what we've got here. A whole bunch of whalers coming in, potentially wanting to go after that fat boy, but flying over a great deal of flak from some stationed skyboxers. Wasps now making the maneuver, not going after the fat boy. Interesting. I'm not sure where they're headed. That was never gonna achieve anything. They didn't even get a shot off at anything. Just flew directly into the base. That was definitely not a well-prepared assault. Still pinging the upper strat missile defense. And he's really rushing up this nuke now. That's the focus. So they want to try and get a nuke in here. It's going to happen pretty quickly. We'll knock it up a notch. Won't be too long before that goes off. Another Monkey Lord online for Liverpool, marching west. Lots of Percivals on the field once again, though. Absolute bane of Monkey Lord's existence. Takes so long to kill, do so much damage. Lots of strat bombers coming out for Araton. Interesting target selection, and there's the nuke. Question is, where's that going? It is going down here. I don't think that's going to miss the coverage of that strat defense, which has got one in the hold. Oh, it's going to be close. No, it's not. It's not. Nicely defended there. Slightly poor scouting from Team 2. Waste of a nuke. Whalers going after those Percivals, trying to clear a path for that Monkey Lord, I guess. Where is that Monkey Lord? There he is. Taking all of that fire from that fat boy. But the whole bunch of Percivals marching promptly for him. That Monkey Lord is going to get out of dodge. I don't blame him. Fat boy in pursuit. Taking so much fire in the rear. No one wants that. Turning a corner. Lots of T1 NGs on their reclaim mission. Going to get beasted left, right and center by Percivals as they make their way through the gap. Don't think he's going to pursue that monkey. It's far too far away now. And Jicelo not being cavalier with that fat boy. And a lot of TAC missiles still coming out of that battery. That'd be a nice pickup if you could get rid of that, because that could be a real headache. This looks pretty good. Lands on the shield, takes out all of the shield. Nice anticipatory skills there. Doesn't manage to kill it though. Needed a few more than that. And a whole bunch of engineers being turned into scrap metal by that fat boy fire. Another volley out from those TAC missile launchers. They look like they might be, well, they look like they were going to be off target, and then he hanged a right. Oh, very close indeed. Whole bunch of strat bombers managed to avoid getting shot down by Jicelo's wasps. They're on pretty heavy recon, advanced recon mission in enemy territory there. Continentals going down. They look like he had another drop prepared. But you know what? Liverpool might almost have this, or at least Team 2 might almost have this in terms of this air battle that's going on. Strat bombers now pursuing those Percivals that are turning around, and in the face of that they're getting a lot of fire coming in from a recently created fat boy from Araton. He is chasing down those Percies as we pass the 53-minute mark. So much fire, and now they're all getting bunched up as they try to turn the corner. That's a bad day in ISIS for those Percys. Getting strap bombers, getting arty fire from the Fat Boy. Oh man, that's got to be a robot headache for him. But there's a crab online as well for Liverpool, who's really got his eco sorted. Another one going up. Take another look at the ecos in just a second. And Araton getting some nice volleys over the top of that reservation, but finally that runs out as those Percivals sneak north. This will give you a rest, says the megalith, who's now absorbing all kinds of Fat Boy fire. Oh, that's a terrible place to stand. It's like that guy who walks in front of the camera when you're on a night out. It's like, you idiot. But nasty groups of experimentals now grouping up in the middle for Team 2. Another Fat Boy on the way for Araton. Definitely the late game phase now for this ISIS match. And Jicelo promptly withdraws his troops. Another Fat Boy out now for him. Take a look at how they're matching up on eco. 389 mass. That looks like a consistent solid for Jicelo. 86,000 reclaim to a 37,000 reclaim, and 365, I guess, maybe, for Araton. And Liverpool is on 217, so he hasn't advanced much in eco. The reason why Liverpool is keeping up, though, is getting a little bit of mass fab farmage on, which I like to see. You just don't see enough of that these days. Of course, the monkeys back then cost a little bit less than they do now. It's actually one of the proposals is about the monkey in this new upcoming balance patch that will be released. So if you want to check it out, guys, like I say, head on over to the forums and take a look. Don't want to miss out. I think you need a rest, mate. I don't know about anybody else. You don't look well at all. Down to 39,000 hit points on that megalith. And it's his turn this time to back around the corner of the reservation as an air battle goes on overhead, taking an awful lot of fire still despite the elevation of those rocks. Oh my god, that's some very nice fire coming over the brow of that hill from that Fat Boy. Very nice indeed. Probably should hug it a little bit more and head directly north. He's trying to micro out the way. Now it's the monkey's turn to take a bit of fire. Holy, it's 4,800 HP. A few more volleys should do it. 4,000 HP. Oh, I don't believe it. Are you kidding me? 2,000, 1,000, 1,300 HP. That's unreal. And the Fat Boy pulls away. I don't believe he's making it out of there. 1,300 HP, only 3 kills on him. That's unreal. And once again, this game starts to slow again as these guys just stop to reassess what they can possibly do to break this deadlock. So much power at the front for Jicelo. Lots of build capacity still on those factories. He's starting to work on a few more engineering stations. Looks like he's trying to swap build capacity over to them from the T1 NGs. They will be more effective and give him more options when he's producing stuff around the base. Lots of spy planes coming out for Liverpool. And now a little bit of an advancement of the Percivals at the bottom, but it's probably slightly ill-advised. They're taking an awful lot of Fat Boy fire, which is definitely unnecessary. I'm going to walk back towards the gap. Araton not pursuing too far forward, but oh my god, what got that? Oh, it was a self-destruct so he can reclaim. That's definitely a wise idea, and people, I think, the newbies are very reluctant to do that, certainly. It's like, why would I kill my own experimental? Well, when it's that low on health, how much is it going to take to repair? How long is it going to take to regen, especially when it's only got 3 kills? You might as well just kill the thing, get the mass, rebuild. It's a much more efficient way of doing things. So you do occasionally see the better players do that. I always forget to do that. I somehow think it's criminal, but to because I'm terrible at this game, as you will know. And an Omni going up at the front. Jicelo wants to keep that safe. He's got a stealth generator lined up to go next to it. That's going to be invaluable at spotting those monkeys. Doesn't want any more surprises. There's one at the top that's sitting on around 9,000 hit points, but climbing. He's only got 10 kills as well. That crab is also only on 3 kills. Looks like we've got a bit of a Percival drop happening from Team 2 here, massing up from Araton. It's got 3 Continentals, 2 are fully laden, 1 is about half full. It's going to be a tough job to get it past all of those ASFs though. It's the thing about Iszh, such a long, narrow map. And he hasn't actually got anything air to ground to deal with those experimentals, but just doing what he's doing has forced Liverpool to back off. So that's quite a nice little maneuver. Taking a little bit of fire from the monkey, whatever, shrugging those off with the amount of ASFs he's got. Take a look at how many he actually has got. It's quite a huge quantity. So he's sitting on around 89. Liverpool is sitting on 44. Araton is sitting on 25. So still with the air advantage, Team 1, or Jicelo I should say, as he's all that's left. They're pinging that Omni, so the little stealth grab has not worked. Continentals now massing at the front of Team 2's base. But that is going to be a tough ask to get it past those ASFs. Lots of spy planes now coming out for Jicelo, who looks like he's preparing to do a scout. And we've got a disrupt to the T3 artillery from Liverpool going up, so it really is entering that kind of stage now. T3 artillery out of options. They need to work out a way to break each other, so that's what he's queued up. And a Duke is queued up as well for Araton, but oh my god, that must have been a Billy. I didn't see or hear any nuke go off, so you can see that's recharging on his comm. I like that indeed. Coincidentally, the Billy is also under review for an idea from Shepard, so check it out, guys. Another Billy nuke on his way. Of course, the damage is very minimal compared to an actual nuke, but it's got excellent AoE, so it's very good at taking out large amounts of units, and there's absolutely no TMD whatsoever in Liverpool's base, as that lands right in the center, blinds me for a second, and a nuke going off from that little front nuke silo for Araton, and that's heading straight towards the army of Jicelo, and he's not going to be able to do anything about that. Needs to get his ASFs out of the way. He's going to lose them too. Boom! That's a lot of Percivals that's just got wasted. And a Fat Boy went down as well, I believe. This game's absolutely crazy. ASF's now circling. Lucky he pulled them to the side when he did. He could have lost all of those. If you lose air advantage at this stage in the game, 2 versus 1, you could have a real headache. But now this Megalith has a much clearer path to the front of Gicelo's base. It's popping engineers and skyboxers as he goes past. Takes out a stealth gen. There's another one at the front that could pop. There it goes. But all the time, of course, he's taking a lot of Fat Boy fire. And there is this nasty looking bank of Ravagers that will still eat that bot when it gets closer. Jicelo still has Commander far too close for my liking. You can see the hit points fall off him. And he's not going to last much longer at all. There he goes. It's another nice chunky group of mass for him to harvest. Of course, that's assuming that it doesn't get TAC missiles, which it probably won't, because finally that group of TAC missiles has gone down thanks to those Billy nukes. So very nice implementation there from Jicelo of the Billy. And Fat Boys opening fire on that group of personals as they go back. And this time a nuke, conventional nuke coming out from Jicelo, heading straight for the Fat Boys. They're not going to make it out of there. So nuclear point defense all round. My eyes. It's like the surface of the sun. Oh my god, that does actually hurt. So now these guys have an even larger dilemma. How on earth do they engage with land forces? It's got to that stage in the game. How do they engage with land forces on such a narrow map to break each other? And the answer is going to have to be artillery, and that is why all of these bots are heading south, these drones, to assist Liverpool in construction of the disruptor, start to put some fire on Jicelo's base at range, keep him building shields and other stuff. And a Duke is about 40% done as well. So in the near future, Jicelo could have himself a real headache. He's not going for any such tactic himself. It's a huge investment, the T3 artillery. But now quite an advanced force coming forward from Jicelo. He's got one fat boy in support and a whole heap of Percys pinging going off from Team 2. I'm guessing that's target priority for the artillery that is now online and shielded to boot, and has now been scouted as well. For some reason Percival's lining up line dance fashion at the edge of the map, but they've decided to get on with the job instead. They're starting to move south to the main aperture of Team 2's base. And there are some Ravagers up front, but not a great deal. And unless there's another nuke silo that I've missed, which there probably is, there isn't another nuke ready to go, so they're not going to be able to nuke that. Commander Jicelo is coming forward. If you can get another Billy nuke in there to assist, that would be very nice. Of course, the recharge time, if you have the mass to build them, incredibly powerful. You can see the artillery shells flying in from that disruptor, definitely aiming at this forward base, which is a wise move. You can get through that, penetrate that shield defense, get all kinds of damage done. Not sure why he's not engaging. This is the right time to do it. He's giving more time to Araton to get involved. That's why he's not doing it. I should shut my mouth, shut my face. He was waiting for the Billy nuke to come in, and now he is engaging with the Percivals while he's done the damage to the shields. Units from Araton come forward. Fat Boy opens up, starts putting as much damage on the front line as possible. Very grouped up units from Jicelo. And actually even looking numbers in terms of Percivals as they rush towards each other to engage. Another Billy nuke in from Jicelo. Does a great deal of damage to those Percivals, and that has given him advantage on the ground for certain. So many ASFs. And at the same time, we've got gunships coming in. We're going to slow this down. We're going to go to split screen so we can keep an eye on all of the action. We don't miss anything. Gunships, broadswords coming in. Definitely want to deal with that. I don't know how much air coverage or anti-air coverage they've got. He's going after the Ravagers first at the frontal assault. Wants to pick up that power gen. Always opportune targets to go for. Broadswords finally making it in now. Shield about to go down. He's actually focusing in on Liverpool's commander. He's ignoring that altogether, and there's so many broadswords. Look at the damage he's doing. So at the same time, Jicelo's making an assault on the front of Araton's base. He looks like he might be able to bag Liverpool's commander kill, and that will put the advantage in his favor, and the Nova will probably take out the artillery as well. It doesn't. He has managed to transfer it. I imagine the broadswords won't have survived. Still, the Percival's alive, going after the power at the front of Araton's base, and this is going to cause all kinds of problems for him. He's not doing too badly, or not in too much danger, because he has gone for the shield upgrades. Not that Percivals aren't always to be taken seriously, of course. There's a couple more broadswords lingering around, but they're not going to get anything done. It's a real shame that he didn't manage to get that artillery, because that's going to plague him slightly, although it's very exposed now. Liverpool didn't manage to transfer all of his stuff. That is now a good time to go back to single screen, I believe. Araton's shield almost depleted. Still running at -2, so we don't miss anything. I'm going to knock it up a little bit. Up to 0. Taking a lot of damage now. Needs to be very careful. Dropping to 8,000. This could be it for Team 2. And a very nice bag indeed as we pass the 1 hour, 10-minute mark. He gets inside the shield. He's getting some Ravagers up. He's got a bunch up at the back. Front Percival goes down. 4 more left in the immediate vicinity. A nice overcharge on this one here would do him wonders. He elects to move further back instead while they finish off Percy at the front. There is Fat Boy fire coming in from over the ridge. Araton looking like he might potentially make it out of what was a very hairy situation, but of course he hasn't got a great deal left at the moment to deal with this Fat Boy. And more stuff coming in all the time. Whole bunch more broadswords. And the broadswords have managed to take out that artillery piece, so what was a real headache for him initially has been dealt with. There was a Duke about to go up over this side as well. It looks to have perhaps been taken care of. I'm not 100% sure. I can't see it right now. Araton spamming on the anti-nuke. He doesn't need to. He's just focusing on other stuff right now. But things not looking great for Team 2 now. More broadswords coming in. More Percivals coming in. One randomly destroyed mass point must have been from that artillery piece. Took out one of the strategic missile defenses as well. And epic power troubles as well for Jicelo. Sure what's going wrong there. He's producing another Billy nuke. That's what's going wrong. You can see the drones buzzing around his commander. That'll be sapping huge quantities of power. Knock that back up a notch. He's probably going to fire that again any minute. Fat Boy just going to absolute town on the front of Araton's base. Araton desperately needs to get some broadswords on the case and deal with it before he loses all of the forward protection. There's a huge bank of Ravagers that he wants to keep alive. Very timely shield blink there, but he doesn't have enough to keep it up. He's having power issues to boot. Very impressive to see if he can hold on here. He has still got a bunch of stuff down here. But the momentum firmly in Gicelo's corner right now. And if Araton doesn't get some broadswords out soon, this will be game. You can see he's got one. He's got a decent amount of ASFs, though, to protect himself. He wants to get another one out soon, and that's what he's doing. Sitting on 2. Can't believe how wound up I've gotten over this game. And more broadswords for Jicelo going to town down here on the very heavily shielded. There's not really a great deal of stuff to go for. I guess he wants to be going for that T3P gen. That's what he really wants. That will get him the most. He's probably not microing that. Finally, that Fat Boy does go down. He did engage with those broadswords, but he's now got a serious Percival leak, and it's ruining all his furniture. As they head south and take care of the rest of this base, it looks like they're going to at least. Wants to save this power generator if he can. They're probably marching towards it. ASFs deal with the broadswords that were going after it. Actually astounded this game isn't over yet. Knock it back up a notch to +2. Oh, power generator. Go for the power generator. There it goes. See what that's doing to Araton's power. He's got enough. It's not the end of the world. So we'll take a look at where he stands economically speaking. Jicelo sitting on a very respectable 416, it looks like. Reclaim dependent, of course. Araton, on the other hand, floating a huge amount of mass, getting 350 in, so it's not shabby at all, but he's certainly not able to spend it, suffering on build capacity at the moment. Large engagement of Wasps coming in, working on those broadswords, wants to keep the Percival's alive as long as he can, use them to do as much damage on the front as possible. Of course, 2 UEF players, not the best thing for a speedy conclusion as we pass the 1 hour 15 minute mark. And air control on this side of the map firmly back in Araton's hands, and these Percivals just look doomed now. He's unable to deal with those broadswords. They're just going to tickle those to death. Absolutely nothing he can do about it. He's trying to mass as many ASFs down here as you can see. He's going to have to write these off, I think. Might as well have just sent those north. Yes, he might have been dealing with the Ravagers. He probably wouldn't have got anywhere with them, but he might as well. He's not going to get out of there. So many fusions. Still no nukes left in that silo. That tells you how redlining Jicelo has been on mass. Of course, when you're at a mass, nuke launchers regen their missiles very slowly indeed. They take a tiny proportion compared to what other things that are being built or rushed get. That is the last of those Percivals. They did their job fundamentally. They cleared out this whole area. Now a little advancing force of Percivals equipped with the parashields. Going to meet a substantially heavier group of Percivals, but less well shielded. And now they're going to get some broadswords in on the case as well. Trouble is for that broadsword is there's an awful lot of skyboxers in amongst them. And rather than commit and throw away his life, he decides to break away. You can see the sort of economic issues he's having. He's had to turn off the mass fabs in his, or some of the mass fabs in his mass fab farms while he gets control of the power situation. And he still has Cybran tech, which could be crucial. If it had just been an all UEF affair, this could have been a difficult one to conclude. But the fact that he's got the access to the Cybran tech, the Cybran experimentals, means he might be able to pack enough punch to deal with it. That could be key. Jicelo just spamming up a fat boy like it's cool. Give you an idea how quickly that's going. That's at regular rate. Look how quickly that's being constructed. That is ridiculous. You can see it just run out of mass at the end there. And it's now standoff city. Neither of these guys have any of the central mass points except for this one T31 sitting in the middle here. A crab getting reclaimed down here, giving a nice mass dump to Jicelo, who's just using it to spam up fat boys. Anyone would think he was building T1 P-gens. Same time repping up some of his stuff. And you look at the difference since he's had mass to play with, how quickly that nuke has recharged since last time we saw it. Another fat boy under construction, these two rolling out. Percival's massing once again down here. Duke 40% done, so he could have artillery problems once again, Jicelo, in the near future. Fat boy well underway as well. As we pass the 1 hour 21 minute mark in this game, it's just unreal. Araton could be a little bit quicker about expanding south. Should have more of these mass points by now, especially with all of the access to the engineering drones. I guess he feels maybe he's floating mass still. He's not. He is using it, so he could always do with more. It's a huge group of T1 archers Just sitting there for modest anti-air cover. Concerned, I guess, about any drops into this bottom quadrant down here while it's unprotected. And now we've got a pretty big air fight kicking off. We've got a big pass coming through from Jicelo. Araton caught napping, it seems. And that is just an absolute mess that I think Araton is going to lose. He's got a few broadswords in there which he wants to get out over some friendly anti-air. Which I think he does. But now Jicelo engaging once again. He could do with another Billy nuke on the scene. They've been so very effective indeed. And that is definitely an air win for Jicelo, who still is ahead in this game quite considerably. Two fat boys closing in now and putting as much fire on that frontal shield as possible. Still no TMD in here, which really surprises me. There's one back here. Land a Billy nuke in here, no problem.
Strategic launch detected.
And a nuke off for Araton. He's just going to go all nuclear with his point defense, and this is going to be very painful indeed. As we slow it down to normal speed. Oh dear, my son. Ah! That's costly. That's very costly indeed. And I tell you what, Jicelo needs to mass strap bombers or something and either go for a snipe or take that out, because he's going to have such problems. That's going to happen every single time. And while he's ahead at the moment, if he does that too many times, that will not be the status quo for very long. Engineering drones on their way out, looking for reclaim. Not going to find any. Nuke has incinerated everything. Probably going to run into a skyboxer, which is going to do its best to pop them. Takes out a load. So vulnerable to flak. In fact, none of them make it home. That was a very doomed mission. As we knock that up a notch again. Just these guys just throwing so much at each other, losing so much. Omni going back up for Araton. Extraordinary to think he's been without it all this time. And you can see that that actually put Araton ahead. The amount he killed with that one nuke. He was about... I forget what it was. I suppose it was about 40... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... No, it was 400,000 behind in score or something. Absolutely insane.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke going off. This time it's from Jicelo. The question is, does he think he's dealt with all of the nuke defense? He hasn't. Probably didn't see that. Imagine he didn't. Unless he assumed that that was new and there wasn't one in it. He's sending in broadswords to try and deal with it. But that's not going to last very long at all, because the huge horde of skyboxes in there. Not even going to get close to it, and they all go down. It's a little bit of a reinforcing group that thought better of it, saw the flaming wrecks of their buddies falling out of the sky and plummeting to their deaths, and thought, nah, I don't think so. Unbelievable standoff. The amount of nuclear explosions that have gone off in this game. See the pitted craters. That fat boy from Jicelo goes down, completely outmaneuvered by the parashields from Araton, offering his fat boy a lot of extra coverage. It's lucky his shields didn't go down earlier. Jicelo still trying to figure out how to get this done. He's ahead, but the longer this goes on, Araton catches up, and he now has a Duke online, and the firing is giving him critical power problems. See what he's going for. He's going straight for what looks like the air production facilities that, interestingly, aren't shielded. takes out a huge quantity of drones and build capacity. What he needs to go after, I think, is actually the engineering stations, because every time a plane comes out of that, they're just going to insta-rep those factories back up. It's a nice shot in. I guess he figures he just needs to leave it on there, and the random variation in trajectory and fire will deal with that build capacity in good order. But another attack of broadswords coming in. He wants those strategic missile defenses down. So much fire. It's not going to do it. He's got too much shield coverage. Jicelo just unable to close out this game. Oh man. The longer it goes on, he's taking more and more damage from this Duke. He's not started any of his own. He doesn't want to get into an artillery trade-off war. I don't really blame him. He is behind on that. One Duke in place already. Let's see if any more are planned. I can't see any at the moment. Lots of mass fabs kicking around at the back of Araton's base. Still hasn't got all of the mass points in here, which surprises me. He's got an idle engineer back here. He could at least get some T1s. Very small amount of mass, admittedly, but also a small amount of attention required. Still, obviously focusing in on this air facility, I would assume. The question is, does he have another nuke? I imagine he probably does. He does indeed. So Jicelo is just not going to be able to get close. He needs to figure out a way how to either take out that SMD or that nuke. The problem is that there's now two fat boys kicking about in the vicinity, a whole heap of Percivals, and more Ravagers planned at the front. I'd like to see him make more use of that Billy. Finally, we've got some shielding up at the back for Jicelo. A whole bunch of fat boys getting queued up. This is such a trap that UEF players find themselves in sometimes when they get to this stage in the game. I feel like they just don't have the punching power, but it doesn't really matter what you have. Unable to contend with the nuke spam or get your army close enough, you're going to struggle. Another Duke is underway as we pass the 1 hour 31 minute mark in this game. Absolutely unreal. If there's any of you still watching, I applaud your diligence, your stalwart behavior. Not sure I'd be able to tear my eyes away from this one. Tell you what, I'm going to have a headache later on. Admittedly, the Duke fire at the moment isn't becoming critical. It's just the one of them. If he can get another one up, that could start to break down some shields. But there's so much shielding over this main power plant. It's going to be tough to deal with. See where that nuke is going now. It's going to take out the fat boys. They immediately realize what's going on. He's not going to be crazy enough to try another one at the base when he knows there's SMD there. So another two fat boys down. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. See how much Araton has leapt ahead in score. Doing so well. Obviously the eco gives you a huge boost to that score. It's not the best representation of how well a game is going for any one player. Of course, as soon as those Percivals group up, it's going to be the same issue. He's driving forward and then feinting back. He's trying to provoke a missile launch that he can dodge. I think this is a nice idea to go in one at a time and force him to use it on one of the groups and then engage with the other. It's probably his best bet, but I'm not sure he's just got enough to deal with it.
Strategic launch detected.
Out goes the nukes to one of them. What's he going to go for? I imagine he's going for the group of Percivals on the left, which he is. Very close fire support indeed. That would be taking all of the hairs off you if you were building anything at the front line. Hope you'd be wearing your shades. And this fat boy is taking an awful lot of fire. Another nuke going off. He had another one. Oh my god, things just keep getting worse for Jicelo. Another fat boy down, another group of Percival's out of the picture. And once again, he has to withdraw. Absolutely unreasonable behavior from Araton. Jicelo must just be thinking, why won't you die? And now a switch up of tactic, which is long overdue, I think, from Araton. He's gone to Cybertech, and he's going what looks like Mass Monkey, and I think, to be honest, this is by far and away the best idea he's had all game. What he's been doing has not been working so far against, in terms of assaulting Jicelo. And anything he can get in terms of a stealthier approach will help him get closer, which will help him avoid nukes. There's still only that one silo. It's about to have 2 nukes in it. I don't think I can see another one anywhere. But if you get as many Monkey Lords online as you can and just attack with them, to feel like you're going to have more punching power. And like I say, this is of course 3599, so Monkey Lords these days, I believe, cost 21,000 mass. Back in the day, they cost 16, so this is a lot more economical to do here than it is now. Like I said before, it's one of the things in the patch. Another Billy Nuke impacting on the front line. I'm not sure how much damage that actually did. 2 more Fat Boys coming in from Jicelo up the top. Softened up the front line. He's now engaging with the Fat Boy, but you can see there's kind of a shield creep extending, so the base of Araton is kind of growing rather than shrinking, although a lot of T3 engineers are going to get pummeled now by this Fat Boy. They're trying to get a bank of buzz kills up very unsuccessfully indeed. That is what you call the forlorn. That is a bad job to have, but a little group of Percivals marching forward, trying to bear down on the Fat Boys. Another Billy comes in. Nice work taking out the buzz kills beforehand. Monkey's heading south now, so any element of surprise that he could have had will be gone. Jicelo will be well aware of their presence. He will or should be able to nuke them. Surprised we haven't seen more very heavy strap bomb attempts. Usually when a game gets to this kind of level, you see some kind of, 40 strap bomber com snipe attempt, or after a critical SMD so you can fire in the nuke, something like that. But we haven't seen anything like that this time. I think the focus has been unusually heavy on the ground, and I gotta say, I love it. I love to see more of that. It's so interesting to see this kind of gameplay, and the Fat Boys kind of getting hung up on themselves have allowed these monkeys to catch up with them, and they are going to die. There's no way out of there. A horrible place to land for all of Jicelo's ASFs. They realize a little bit later that they shouldn't have done that and properly take off. Monkey Lords, one of them down, but still chasing after that Fat Boy. Microwave laser online. That is the end of that one too. Broadswords coming in for Jicelo, trying to deal with them as best he can. Air control looking like it has been for most of the game in the hands of Jicelo. No real troubles there. Monkey Lord coming in with a lot of parashields, a lot of coverage, and that's taking the edge off the Percival strikes and the Fat Boy. Look how much damage it's taking. That's not going to last very long at all, I shouldn't think, although he gets the microwave laser online but doesn't manage to get any damage on the structure. It goes pop just as the shield goes down on the Fat Boy. Meanwhile, Duke's still raining down on the front of Jicelo's base. Haven't had any success, no visible wrecks anywhere, perhaps maybe up here at the back. And I think that was the nuke launcher, so he managed to take out the nuke launcher. So I wondered why we weren't seeing any nukes going down on the Monkey Lords, and that could be absolutely critical to Jicelo's survival. He doesn't have the nuclear option in terms of nuclear point defense anymore. He can't just click and fire and wipe out whole armies. He needs to get rebuilding that ASAP. I don't know if he's even realized that he's lost it. Not seeing one going up anywhere. He has, of course, still got access to the Billy nuke, which is invaluable. Maybe he's just perhaps intending to rely on that. Or perhaps the fact that the game has gone on for an hour and 42 minutes of game time has just taken its toll. It's just fat boy after fat boy after fat boy spewing out of Jicelo's base. And if you're still with me, guys, kudos. Fat boy now getting into range, but I like this tactic that Araton's employing. It's going hardcore power shield, which is giving him the time he needs to get into range and eliminate those fat boys. Another Percival advance from Jicelo, but that's not going to get too far. He's decided against it. There's too many Ravagers in place now. And this time there's a whole bunch of buzzkills that are in place. So Billy nukes at the front may now be a thing of the past. I don't think they're going to get through anymore unless he lands them very far forward indeed. And then, of course, the law of diminishing returns in this game means that he's not going to score very much damage on stuff at all. The outer ring is very light on damage, especially compared to a conventional nuke. So many monkeys on the field, so cheap to build. This is where Araton is really going to get the advantage from his teammate going Cybran. I'm sure Jicelo right now is thinking, Iszh, if only you had gone Cybran, could have saved me. And it's just conveyor belts of Monkey Lords now, and there's a second Duke online. He's sorted out his power issues, I think. Well, it takes a huge hit every single time it fires. That's why he's queued up a whole bunch of more fusions. Crank that back up to +2 once again. Still working on fat boy after fat boy after fat boy. You can see the effects starting to happen. The double Duke.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, and that's going to be another nuclear point defense going out for Araton, and it's going to be another couple of dead fat boys and a whole bunch of Percivals. Very nicely placed indeed. Maximum effect. Maybe a tiny bit to the right. He could have bagged those 4 as well. Tried to place a fat boy at the edge here, trying to get into the base, but just not possible. What would be really nice is a heavy Percival drop into the back here. His commander just happens to be here right now. But even if it wasn't, he could just go on a rampage through the base, take out this power, and he is in trouble. But he may not have that option. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Monkey Lords in this forward group. And there is no nuke up for Jicelo, but oh my god, he spammed that Duke together quickly. He is now going to get involved with a game changer. There's actually the nuke. I actually see it earlier, so maybe I was wrong about that earlier. I thought it was up there. There's the nuke. Now it has gone down. That may have been from an earlier Duke. I'm sure someone will correct me. They will have no doubt noticed, and they will mention it in the comment section. As you can imagine, casting this is a brain melter. And this is going to be very bad indeed. I don't see there's any way Jicelo is getting out of this one. That is too many Monkey Lords. And once they lay into those shields and those T3 power gens with those microwave lasers. Oh dear. Chain reaction. Oh man, that's brutal. Just hear them shouting, "Liberate!" Their way in. Oh, and Jicelo's just chilling. He knows it's over. What an absolutely brutal game. 1 hour, 48.5 minutes. Absolutely unreal. Thank you hugely to TA for Life for linking me that one. And if you're wondering where I get these older replays from, guys, the website is gamereplays.org, and they have huge quantities of older replays. They probably won't be, well, they won't be compatible with FAT. You will need to find the Supreme Commander replay viewer. You can find all the information about that in the GPG forums. I wouldn't ask me for too much advice about how to get those things running, because I did it a long time ago, and I'll be damned if I can remember how to do it. I had a lot of issues with it back in the day. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. That was something else. Like I say, guys, if you use Facebook and you haven't liked the Forged Alliance Forever Facebook page, do it. It is the place where votes get done. You are missing out if you don't do it. And if you enjoy these casts and you're interested in the other stuff that I do that won't be necessarily FAF related, do like my page. Both of the links are below in the description to this video. But anyway, guys, that's enough from me. I will see you bright and early Monday evening. Ish. But for now, this is Gyle signing out.